Okay, so nobody's getting the truth from the mainstream media, folks. It's well past time to open your eyes, your ears, and your mind. Do your own research because something isn't right here. And if you can't see that, you are not paying attention, folks.
It's the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order. A world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations.
So let's look at each one of these and see how we can get this down to zero. Probably one of these numbers is going to have to get pretty near to zero. Now that's back from high school algebra, but let's take a look. First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
The important message that we need Australians to get vaccinated as quickly as possible. In line with that, I do encourage all Australians to please go and book your vaccinations as soon as you can if you haven't already done so.
Emma, get away!
When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
Okay, we need to stand up against this tyranny, folks. Stop giving away your freedoms and liberties, because the more you give up, the more these people will take until you have absolutely nothing left. That's their agenda. All right, good evening, folks. How are we going? We got all the channels, yeah? Okay, we've got all the channels up today. That's good, guys. All right. So day 2 of our next week, in the weeks leading up to Make a Difference, guys. All right, that's what we're here for. Slow this beast down, eh? We know what the problem is. The problem is the beast, okay? And you good people out there are the people that can get the word out there that we're going to slow it down, guys. All right. Milan, watching from them Bucketheads. Have a good holiday, Blake, wherever you are. That's great. Well, we know where you are. Enjoy, mate. Okay, guys, a few things that are going on. The Cobar tragedy, the mining tragedy. Yeah, 2 people dead and another one in hospital. So, yeah, I don't know what's gone on there, but that's sad news for that little community there at Cobar. Rio Tinto, Tomago. Now, I've actually, worked at Tomago, guys, years ago. I went up there and done a revamp on the anode system, actually, that go into the vats up there to melt the aluminium. But, yeah, we'll be closed by 2028. Why? Due to rising energy costs. Rio Tinto cannot get, it's all by design, guys, but, this is how ridiculous it is. They can't get energy costs for a price that are going to keep them away open. All right, so forgot the picture behind me. I have too, haven't I? Look at that, guys. Anyway, deal with my guitar in my head for a minute until we go into the show, and then I'll fix it up. All right, so Princess Anne, we got arriving Saturday, military accolades, because she's something to do with the what is it? The military signals. Yeah. So we got her. In the meantime, we got Prince Charles condoning the LGBTQ plus alphabet over there, stand up there, copping a little bit about Prince Andrew too, which is great. And then we'll go into a couple of clips up here, because one of these covers, guys, what I just cannot, this is the one. A woman charged after gas water switched off at Sydney hospitals. Now, I don't know whether you've seen this, but Sutherland and Carina hospitals are very near to each other. And some ladies got in and turned off the gas and the water. to both hospitals. So yeah, I just don't know why people would actually, do something like that. I mean, as I know it, Anglo-Saxon, I think there hasn't been any mention of anything too much different. But anyway, yeah, poor lady must be doing it tough if she's got to break in and do things like that. So yeah, we need to get to the bottom of that, not what the crime she tried to commit, because she's obviously got a problem. Okay, now the Bureau of Meteorology, I've been saying this for a while between me, Caz and Mel. Are these guys playing with us? All right, because the BOM seems to give us stuff that doesn't happen or predict stuff that this and that, and we already know that they changed the mirror up at Sydney there at the observatory where they get the temperature from, or they put a mirror in front of it to actually put the rays of the sun, a movable mirror, onto the glass so they could actually heat up. I think it's called the Stevenson. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I think, but yeah, Stevenson gauge or something. And yeah, so they, we already know they're trying to heat that up to raise the actual temperature for this climate change crap. But yeah, Queensland government's led calls for change, asking the Commonwealth to include the flawed website as a severe storm season. So, as I said, I always thought something was going on with the BOM, guys. It's not a trustworthy site, I can tell you. All right, Mount Druitt, good old Mount Druitt. Now, I grew up next to a town just like Mount Druitt. It's called Bellambi, guys. You've heard me talk of it. We called it Helltown. Well, that's its nickname. But this is just a thing on surviving a day in Mount Druitt, and it's wild. It's absolutely wild. But again, this is by design. This is the hood stuff coming through, guys, and grab your territory. It's not, you got to grab what's yours and hold on to it, and it's just unreal. So we got 500,000 Aussies have 3 days to dodge a $1,600 fine, guys. Whoops, I just knocked my screen then. Staring down the barrel of possible $1,600 fine with just 3 days left to file an income tax return for the past financial year. Well, yeah, no, my comments are going to be on that, guys. All right. All you're doing is funding wars. All right. Look at your tax. Look at how you can get out of it. Okay. And this is all part of slowing the beast, guys. All right. And then just to finish off before we get back in with Caz, electricity prices likely to double under Chris Bowen's reckless leadership. Guys, the whole electricity gig is going to go down under Chris Bowen's reckless leadership, all right? And Chris Bowen's been told what to do. Obviously, we know that. You couldn't be as much an idiot as what he is to continually ignore, what evidence is out there, what's around the world. He's an energy minister, supposed to know what's going on everywhere. Well, yeah, sorry, son. You've took the payment, and I reckon they'll triple before they actually just cut the electricity out, guys. That's their plan. We know it. It's all by design. Come on in, Kazza. Did you get to share? Greetings, courage.
I got to share. So I wonder what they got planned. Look, first of all, shout out, put a late prayer call out. Rad's husband. Rad's one of us guys. She's a freedom fighter in Melbourne, and her husband was very ill, had a big operation, and he's come through, and there he is smiling. So
unreal.
And well done. And guys, prayer's working at the moment, so please, but get yourselves prayed up because they are just amazing.
It's a spiritual war.
It is indeed. Look, the first thing we've got is just a compilation of this child predator thing on the ABC Four Corners. I haven't watched the whole thing but I will actually have to watch it. But this is a compilation of the things.
Dating childcare for more than a year. Some of the things I've seen, I'll never forget. Safeguards are crumbling, predators have found their way in, and they're preying on our children. There's so many things we can't show you. It's too graphic, too distressing, but it's happening. Our investigation uncovered almost 150 childcare workers accused or convicted of child sexual abuse and the horrific details of how predators hunt in packs to target children. We found understaffing and relaxed regulations allowed predators to slip through the gaps and abuse children. It's a system that requires total reform.
Do you really genuinely believe by what you've uncovered that childcare centres are the new hunting ground for sex offenders?
Yeah, I do, unfortunately. There's a Canadian group which actually scrapes the dark web. We asked them to have a look for forums. Is there any talk about childcare? And they came back with so much on discussion by predators in these private secret forums on childcare. There are pedophile handbooks where they are talking about where do we go, and they're saying childcare, and they're talking about these are the type of questions you'll get asked in an interview. This is how you answer. How to build trust. I've got no doubt that it is a hunting ground because it's just become so easy for them to get in.
I don't think that the public has any idea how bad this situation is.
Predators' playground. They're hunting in packs. The shocking scale of the crisis revealed.
All of these gaps, it is ripe for pedophiles to come in.
The safeguards that are in place just aren't up to scratch.
We hope it's not in our backyard. It is in our backyard. An explosive investigation.
Kids become ill from these things and it steals their childhood.
Think you haven't got a reason to come and join us on the 11th, guys. Think again. This country is totally infiltrated by evil, as is the world. Okay, and we're watching other countries stand up and do it, guys, and it's our turn. All right, our turn to slay the beast. Are you going to embarrass Australia, or are we going to make this a big thing, guys, and put in a big effort? You know, we got world contacts. We can get it out there, which I actually, So yeah, we're gonna do this, guys. This beast is a thing that's allowing this to happen. All right, as we call it.
That's it. Now I've got two little things here, but Karen, have a look at her.
Gatekeepers, but to really starve these apps of the ability to monetize is where the power of these codes is.
Now, she's been behaving rather oddly. Jordan Didloff put this out late last night.
Massive week in the fight for free speech here in Australia. And for Julie Inman Grant, the E-Safety Commissioner, she thought she was going to be able to be the Grinch for Australians and give them the gift of censorship this Christmas. But her plans have run into hurdles not once, not twice, but 3 times in the Senate in the past week or two. The first big obstacle she's run into has been the proposed changes to the Freedom of Information legislation. The Senate crossbench have come out and said that they oppose these changes, along with the Liberal opposition, and they now look set to fail. The changes would have seen FOIs become more expensive, harder to access, and more subject to redactions for public servants, as well as claims that complying with the FOIs would have taken too long. In fact, the specific example used by the minister when she put this bill to the lower house of Parliament was the example of the E-Safety Commission, who said that when they were subject to freedom of information requests using a tool the Free Speech Union of Australia provided, that it was closing down their office functionally for months at a time while they complied. Leaving aside the fact that the reason these requests took them so long to comply with was because they were holding a phenomenal amount of information on you, and I mean you, many ordinary Australians on X and other platforms. The claims by the Free Speech Union that the technology department wasn't able to handle as many as 6 emails a day was laughable at best, and clearly didn't convince the Senate crossbench. The second setback that the E-Safety Commissioner has had has been that there has been an inquiry into the proposed age regulation technologies and the regulations implementing age restrictions on social media and Google search platforms. The Senate inquiry heard from many, including people in the business community, who stated that the technologies were nowhere near ready, and it was clear that the Senate were not particularly impressed with the E-Safety Commissioner's answers. The final and probably most entertaining hurdle that the E-Safety Commissioner hit this week was when a request by her behind the scenes to coalition senators to try to prevent an inquiry into her powers was made public in the media this week. And perhaps not coincidentally, only a few short days after this was made public, the E-Safety Commissioner confirmed that she would not be seeking reinstatement at the end of her term.
She's struggling.
Well, good. She ought to be struggling, because there's a lot of kids that are going to be struggling when they lose their there's got to be a lot of other, in a lot of different areas, because people aren't going to go along with it. So we're not going to comply. I've already lost all meta because I won't comply. And, as I said to you guys, if you think you can fool the system, all right, and just sneakily in the back door, around the back out there where no one knows, just sign up so you continue doing what you're doing. Guess what? You're the first one they're coming for. I'm telling you, that's their plan.
Big Gaz put this out on housing.
The impact on Australian house prices, but in my opinion, there's two key ones. First, what we've looked at so far, the unemployment rate. But secondly, the other key factor impacting house prices is immigration, or the number of people requiring housing. Since COVID, immigration levels have been consistently above the forecast, and that's put massive upwards pressure on house prices because more people require housing and the supply of housing hasn't been increasing fast enough. The government says they've been trying to reduce immigration, but so far they haven't had much success. But pressure definitely seems to be mounting, especially when you consider the rental vacancy rate in Australia is sitting around 1%, which is catastrophically low and basically has turned the rental market into the Hunger.
Exactly.
Isn't it funny?
Yeah,
isn't it funny? Just a bit of education with that gentleman there, but I don't see any immigrants sleeping on the streets, bloke. I see them all housed. Okay, who are they housed by? Your government. Okay, there is no immigrants sleeping on the streets. You go and find them for me. They aren't out there. It's Aussies. All the immigrants are housed in the fucking housing. Wake up, Australia. Right?
Exactly. And look, Scotty's weighed in on it as well. I'll just play a bit of this.
Going on with our building industry? Why has this number absolutely fallen off a cliff? Building approvals have never been harder to get. In fact, they're so difficult now that the government's even looking at its own national construction code and delaying the rollout of the NCC 2025 because they know they done fucked up. The NCC, National Construction Code, is full of shit that doesn't make housing supply more affordable or better for you to get into a house. It doesn't increase the supply of houses. All it does is completely greenwash the fucking building industry with even more green tape and red tape and fucking compliance for shit like NDIS ramps and shit like that you will never ever need and never fucking make your life more affordable and better. Costs. Absolute blowouts. The last 2 years, the cost to build anything is up by about 40 or 50%. Absolute fucking nightmare trying to keep up with the pricing points in this industry. Builder collapse. 7,000 of them. 7,000 just in the last couple of years since Albo.
7,000. How? And then they're going to India and making deals with India to build 1 million homes. What's going on?
But
is this because
them homes aren't going to get built, Caz? I'll tell you right now. That's more money laundering, and I'll tell you why. Okay, and I will educate Scotty here as well. If Guru is correct or incorrect, who knows? People will let me know. This is all by design, guys, but you know who's getting all the building approvals? The cabal's 15-minute city builders. You're watching it go up everywhere, guys. Don't worry about this housing. This housing is all bullshit. They will regulate it to a pace that they enjoy. Okay, but it's all money laundering again, guys, and I'll bet you I'm right, and I'll bet you it'll come out soon, and someone will find it. I'll go digging, and we'll find out there will be no houses because there's been no houses for the last friggin' 2 years, guys. How many have they built? We've called them out. How many have they built? We've put it on the show. None.
And BlackRock's buying up the family homes. So yeah, no, you could be right on that. You could actually be right on that.
Yes, I'm right. I guarantee you I'm right. Anyway, it's not about being right. It's just about knowing what these buggers are up to.
Yeah, that's it. And look, here's a clip from St James Station. Have a look at this.
That's Sydney, guys. St James. I bet you there's not one immigrant there. And look how neat they are. Like, there's your respect. But look at that. You know what I mean? These are not mugs, man. Like, they make their bed. They have a bit of Yeah, it's their home. They have a bit of decorum about where they're having to live, you know. But I guarantee you, not one Aussie there, guys. Sorry, not one immigrant, all Aussies. You know.
Well, that's it. You know, this story that's with the friendly Geordies. This is very interesting. Like, you remember his home was firebombed after a story. Check this out.
Who needs to be given immense credit for her work on this saga. But very little credit can be given to other journalists and authorities who not only seem ambivalent about properly investigating the firebombing, but downright hostile to any potential action that could threaten to expose those responsible. And now we know a few of the reasons as to why this has been the case. And these are very, very concerning reasons. As such, today I feel like I've been left with no choice but to again address the firebombing, as I've waited 3 years for the police to do something. And during these 3 years, I've not only watched them pass by on numerous chances to solve this mystery, but also somehow, for some mysterious reason, downright actually reject good leads that I've been aware of. No follow-up or interest. It's been a joke. There's been more interest in the police determining what accelerant was used to burn down my house than convicting the people who ordered it. So, I hope this video will get some proactive cops interested in finally charging the people responsible for burning down my house, or at least flush out what the hell is happening in the New South Wales Police, one of the largest, most powerful, well-equipped police forces in the Western world, that has, in my estimation, seen a single journalist publicly uncover more about the firebombing than the entire force combined. As you probably know, in 2022 my house was firebombed because of a video I made. A video which I was forced to take down a year after the firebombing, after threats on my life and the lives of others were attempted to be passed on to me via a former Mongols bikie sergeant-at-arms gangster turned Four Corners journalist, Mahmoud Fazal. Yes, Four Corners, ostensibly the most prestigious investigative journalism institution in Australia, the esteemed flagship, no less, of our dear public broadcaster, the ABC. Allow me to reiterate, as that is really hard to capture just how damning this is. A Four Corners journalist was meeting with heavy organised crime figures, then sending through demands purportedly on behalf of those figures, threatening that if I failed to remove my investigation into these figures, myself and people around me would die. This story was exposed by Kate McClymont in the Sydney Morning Herald over a year ago, though I never spoke about it in depth. You can read it if you want more context, it's brilliant work, but the important takeaway is this. When faced with an abundance of new evidence relating to the firebombing, the evidence that was more than enough at the very least to charge a few people, what did the New South Wales Police do? As far as I'm aware, nothing. Nothing substantive, at least. I tried to question the Four Corners journalist who passed on these threats, but according to New South Wales Police, he refused to provide a statement. Shouldn't that ring a few alarm bells? Shouldn't that open up further avenues of inquiry when conveying threats in of itself can be an offence? Apparently not. This is every criminal's dream treatment. Burn down a house, threaten to kill people, have it reported to police, and then the police do nothing. I thought the police would do something. I shut up for them. I didn't release material I had as the police.
I think we can safely say welcome to the Great Awakening, friendly Geordies.
Mate. New South Wales police forces, every police force has really got something to answer. You good cops out there. Again, guys, you know, we're calling on you. You know, it's time to stand up, guys. You know, you're going down too. Don't think you're immune. They don't care. You're just a useful fucking idiot at the moment. That's it. Bottom line. Useful idiot. Yeah.
Well, that's it. Look, Malcolm Roberts has covered what's going on with Canada as far as the native title goes, and I've linked it with something else that's going on in Canada at the moment.
Allowed in Canada to take ownership of people's property. Take ownership of people's property. It's coming to a country near you. We imported the term First Nations people from Canada. We imported many of the stealing of property rights from Canada. A lot of this rubbish from the UN and the World Economic Forum has come from Canada. Anyway, I'll read the notes from yet another constituent. The city of Richmond in Canada was trending this week due to the decision of the British Columbia Supreme Court in Cowichan Tribes versus Canada. Essentially, the residents' private property rights were overruled and undermined in a ruling favouring First Nations people in Canada. I'm going to quote, "For those whose property is in the area outlined in black, the court has declared Aboriginal title to your property, which may compromise the status and validity of your ownership. This was mandated without any prior notice to the landowners. The entire area outlined in green is claimed on appeal by the Cowichan First Nations, end of the quote. These are people.
This is already happening in 2BA. Now, what's interesting about that is that, so they'll go under the auspices, I would assume, of the UN, and then they can get the resources. It's a way of getting the resources out of extracting the resources and ripping off the native people under native title. That's why they wanted 80% of it transferred to the UN under native title. But it's really interesting that it coincides with this report on the maids in Canada.
Dying recently this year of 2025 came out and expressed what Health Canada's plans look like to do to save money. They are on track starting 2027 to 2047 to save $1.273 trillion by providing 14.7 million Canadians with MAID rather than palliative care.
What was that number? Say that?
14.7 million Canadians. Over 9 million of those are projected to be elderly. Over 4 million of those are projected to be the mentally ill and suicidal. Over 300,000 of those are projected to be the Indigenous population, and then everyone else, addicts, homeless, and otherwise. So
3 million leaders around the world would just about clean this thing up for us, guys, wouldn't it? If we reversed that and gave them the MAID. That's ridiculous.
Well, that's it.
That is
Look, but the thing is that the MAID is also, they're getting access to organs. So they're cutting off their responsibility to actually look after their own people. They're killing them. And then if they're healthy, then they're getting access to the organs and traffic, so that the organ, there's huge money in organs, as you know.
As we all know.
But now, don't think for a second that will not come here, but it will. Because it will. But look, we got so many people that are standing up at the moment, and they've got so much fight in them. One of them, of course, is this guy Sam from Two Worlds Collide, and he's got this to say about the green energy deal and the teals.
Roots backed? Well, it's not. It's money backed. And let me explain to you exactly what's going on. All right, let's start with Climate 200. There's some foreign lobbyist group that just give money to people that parrot their climate change lies. All right, in 2019, they gave the teal chicks like 400 grand. In 2022, it was around $6 million. And then in 2025, it was over $11 million. Up to 75% of their campaigns were funded by Climate 200. And guess which Australian billionaire donates to Climate 200? Mike Cannon Brooks. That's the same guy who bought an 11% in AGL, forced the board to shut down coal and gas early, and then pushed the green agenda, which is forcing your bills up over 30%. And what do the Teals push? The exact climate script as Albo, Bowen, Labor, the Greens, and Jesus, even the Liberals, they are compromised. And that's not a coincidence, that's coordination, money manipulation. Of course these teal chicks are only going to parrot climate change madness. They are funded by Climate 200, $11 million in the 2025 election. And this happens in the entirety of the government. They all just parrot whoever's paying to them or whoever's lobbying to them. And what they keep telling you it's about saving the planet? Well, let's look at who really profits from this scam. Who makes the solar panels? Who makes the wind turbine? Who do we give all our coal and gas to and we don't even tax it when it leaves our shores? China. And let's connect the dots. Billionaires, well, they fund Climate 200. Climate 200 funds the teal chicks. The teals, well, they're paid to push the agenda. Labor and the Greens, well, they lock in because Mike Cannon Brook orders them to. China ends up cashing in on the whole deal. And then your average Australians, well, you're the one footing the bills. Meanwhile, Canberra is full of corrupted politicians taking orders from billionaires, foreign interests, and lobbyists. Australia First isn't about what these politicians say, it's what they do. And what they do behind closed doors. They are working for everyone except you and I. And we know this. And we are continuously letting it happen. But right now, and over the next few months into next year, we draw a line in the sand. And here's that line right now. If you're in Parliament and you put foreign interests before Australians, get the out. If you're funded by billionaires who profit from the green scam, get the out. And if you speak to lobbyists instead of the people who put you into that seat, then get the out. It is Australia first until we die. And it's about time our political class, the ones that we voted in there, well, they wake up and they smell the coffee and they start putting Australia first, behind closed doors, forever and always until we die. It's the people versus the sellouts. It's the workers versus the master puppets. And it's the country. It's us, it's you and I versus the cash. And if you don't like that, get out. Get out of our beautiful sunburnt country. What's your thoughts?
my thoughts are they've already wrecked the country. They're just bringing down the last of the industry now, guys. All right. The Gladstone coal-fire plant, the Tomago smelter. All right. Some other stuff over in Western Australia. All right. They're poisoning our beaches with their desalination units. They won't admit it. They're well on the way, guys, to killing you. All right. The big crescendo. And if they can't kill you, they'll offer to, if you don't want to, die that way, they'll offer to help you take your own life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Candace Owens put it best during COVID. She said, I've looked into this and I'm convinced that governments are at war with their people. And they are. In my opinion, they are. And it's interesting how it's the Five Eyes nations that are actually all running along parallels.
Well, we're the leaders. Yeah, we're the leaders in it. There's another 100 and so countries behind us that NATO's, you know what I mean, dirty on and got revenge for, you know what I mean? But yeah, we are the leaders. It's those, Five Eye countries, and we're the ones that have, it's unreal what we've done, It
is. Yeah. It is. But
England and Israel and America, okay, they're the main, culprits. The British, the Americans, well, run by, Mossad, etc. in there, and Israel. But everyone else is complicit, guys, and we've allowed them to be complicit under our watch. And it is time, like you just said, draw the line in the sand, guys, and you want to get it down now, right, and start and do some serious thinking between now and the 11th. You really do.
Yeah, well, that's it. I think we'll go to the UK news because there's something really interesting or a lot of things that are going on. Nicola Charles did a really good interview with a guy called Philip Dwyer, and let's just listen to this bit.
Yeah, that's what happened to me there last week, and it was last Wednesday. I was after live streaming the trouble that occurred at the City West Hotel, where allegedly a child, a 10-year-old girl, had been sexually assaulted, raped, allegedly by a African asylum seeker, failed asylum seeker who was due to be deported last March, and the Irish government failed to deport him, and so he was left here, remained here, and he managed to allegedly sexually assault a 10-year-old young girl. And I live streamed that. There was trouble broke out the night before, and I went back the next day to show people, the day after the night before, kind of a live broadcast. And I walked down towards the entrance of this complex, and this Garda, as I call them, police now. I don't call them, they used to be called the Garda, well, they're called the Garda Síochána, which is Irish for Guardians of the Peace. I don't believe they are anymore, so I just call them the police now. And he nonchalantly walked over and knew my name and decided he was taking my phone for an investigation into criminal damage to a Garda, a police van that happened the night before, which there is no footage on my phone of that Garda van being set alight or whatever. So he didn't feel any problem with doing this, and he just took my phone, and they still have my phone. So I have my solicitors trying to get it back from me.
So they took his phone because basically using that excuse, okay? But the thing is that they are getting some traction, and what the grooming gangs is actually getting a fair bit of traction at the moment. And this girl who was a victim, she's put it really well. She's
okay.
Listen to it anyway.
Yeah, please do.
I find it quite overwhelming as well that every single one of these medias has said something about a comment that was made by Sarah, which is understandable, absolutely fine. Yet it's taken medias decades to recognise grooming gangs that are coming over and raping our children because they're white. That is also racially motivated, and it is racist.
So she had that to say, and then of course what's happened as well is this UK guy. He took an investigation into it. Listen to this.
After 3 days, I found 52 kids. There's one kid's home here.
3 days.
Yep.
It took you 3 days to find 52 children being pimped out on the streets of London.
Yep. There's one here, right? I rang up the manager of the kids' home. Name was Andre.
Right.
And I said, "How many children you got, Andre?" He said 5. I said, "How many of them do you lose to criminality And I explained I'm interested in the prostitution, and he boldly told me we lose 5 out of 6 every week, and it's here in my original notes. I then decided to hold a meeting. So this is circa 2008, and here is the top of it. It's got report the children at risk of criminal exploitation subject to care orders residing within the borough of Haringey.
So it's like their childcare facility, or not childcare, but it's like their, looking after children facilities. So they're losing 5 out of 6 to basically pimping gangs. And it took him 3 days, just 3 days. And this is the stuff that's going on. And because it actually has come to the fore, remember this case with this girl.
Yep.
Well, so what's actually happened is there's actually a Dundee Romanian gang, and they are 4 national men and 1 woman, and they have been convicted of running a sex trafficking and grooming operation in Dundee. So they targeted local women, exploiting them through drugs, coercion, and violence between 2021 and September 2022. So it's been dubbed the Rochdale. It's Scotland's Rochdale. So that's why this girl was probably reacting like she was. But then instead, we've all seen the video footage of what's going on as far as who's the police is arresting. Well, get this one. This is the worst one.
So I received a knock on my door about 2 o'clock this morning from 2 local police officers, can you believe it, from the local Beckenham police station down here, who had actually seen my video of me going to Nando's and pouring myself a second glass of Coke. And they want to invite me to a voluntary interview to ask me about drinking too much sugar in Nando's, apparently. So I've got an appointment with them this afternoon at 2 o'clock, and they're going to, I don't know, they said they might have to test my blood sugar levels or something like that and see whether a crime has been committed, which is a little bit bizarre because I didn't actually have 2 full glasses of Coke. I had 1.5, so I'm not sure whether that is a full crime. It might be reported as possibly a hate crime or something like that, but they have advised me that, I'm no longer allowed to go to Nando's. I've been banned effectively from all of their stores across the UK for breaching their 1 glass of Coke policy. So anyway, you cannot make this stuff up. This is the country that we live in. So I'll keep you up to date, and I'll let you know how the interview goes later today. But
so you're going to get 1 glass of cordial, guys, and he's gone back for more. And he's at 2 o'clock in the morning. I mean, are you serious? We got young kids like we just saw in the last clip, 10-year-old getting raped and murdered. And these guys are knocking on doors at 2 o'clock in the morning over having an extra half a glass of Coke at Nando's. I mean, this is how ridiculous it is, guys. This isn't a movie to wake everyone up. I don't know what is. I'm in a dream, because this is just getting right out of hand.
Well,
how
it
can
is.
cops even do that?
Well, you got to ask what level of morality that they have. Look, we are having some wins though. This guy's declared the end of the vaccine era.
The era of vaccines is over. People have been vaccinating since the 1700s, back when bloodletting was state-of-the-art medicine. They didn't even have a theory of viruses and bacteria back then. They just had these crude practices. That technology has failed. It has been revealed to cause catastrophic harms in the population. The treatment for bacteria is antibiotics, and the treatment for viruses should be antivirals. Vaccines have no place in medicine going forward. That's where we're going to get to. That's what the data actually show. It's just going to be a lot of hard fighting between now and arriving at what the data is already showing us right now.
Toby Rogers is a PhD.
Yeah.
Yep.
And, guys, in 110 years, Pfizer's been operating. They haven't found 1 cure yet. Not one.
Right.
Not one. 110 years, guys. Think about it. Have a think about it.
Now, just on the way out, or just our last story here, look, this is really interesting. So the president of the Democratic Republic of the Congo meets with Qataris charge d'affaires. Now, remembering that Trump was there only a couple of days ago, and the Congo has been, or Qatar has been the key mediator in the ongoing conflict between the between the Congo and Rwanda and the M23 rebel group. Now, remember that these groups are often funded by external sources that want destabilization so they can come in and seize their resources.
Yep.
So it's very interesting. I think this is a win. I actually do. Like, I'm looking at it, I'm thinking there's something more in this that we're not seeing. So, of course, Congo is big. Anyone who's been to Africa would know that it's an incredibly vast nation filled with natural resources. It's got volcanic soil for you farmers. And the place is just living impoverished, and that's because of the raping and the pillage and now the mismanagement of
Operation
things.
Condor still well in play over in Africa and South America. Yeah.
But I find that very interesting that T-Man was there, and then straight on his heels, there goes the Congo. I think he's brokering peace, and I think that Qatar might have an ability to cut off their arms, not arms, physical arms, arms that are being supplied to enslave these people into working in enslaved situations. I'm not kidding you. I mean actual enslavement situations. They go in, they basically take them and go and get them to, basically go and get them to work for free. So very interesting stuff. All right. Well, look, tonight we are being taken out by Break Free from the Chains, and it is Cliff Edge. And so, Dave, if you would like to wrap up and say goodnight.
Yeah. Probably an honest comment up there. They've found all the cures. They've just hidden them, guys, and they probably have found a lot of cures. You know what they would have found? They would have found that grandma's recipes work. There's certain combination of herbs, and, you just got to find the right ones, guys. All right, but they work. Okay. As we know, Pfizer, Moderna, all these things, guys, all they are is money laundering and part of the depopulation agenda for the satanic pedophile elites. That's basically it, guys. So again, I'm going to ask you, where are you drawing your line in the sand yet? All right, again, we just showed you tonight how infiltrated our preschools, etc. are in. And that makes me shit myself. I got grandkids that are attending these things. You know what I mean? I'll tell you, mate, they'll put me in jail, mate, if someone touches my grandkids. I'll tell you, they'll have to. So this has just got right out of hand, guys. Right out of hand. The articles we're showing you, the things that we're putting on this news show each night are just developing into worse and worse scenarios every week. Draw your line in the sand, guys. Before you go to bed tonight, start asking some questions. Start talking to the good Lord. All right? And as I've said before, you are going to have to look at your grandchildren and the people that are coming behind you, and they are going to ask what you done. Now, if you don't want to have that conversation, draw your line in the sand now. We can win this and you don't have to do that. But I tell you what, you sit back any longer and let them take this off us like they are, and you are going to have to face those things. I don't want to face those things, guys, even though I know I can face it and say I fought all the way, just like you good people. Time to wake up your community now, guys, because the fight's on. Let's go. Good night.
Yeah, listen up, Australia. We're standing on the edge. Time to rise, it's time to pledge. In the land down under where the sun glares bright, but shadows linger, can't escape the night. The cost of living keeps rising high. We're chasing dreams while the system asks us why. With fear is a weapon, they keep us in line, telling us to bow down, just drink the wine. Authority figures, they claim to be the guide, but behind closed doors, they're scheming with pride. Break free from the fear, it's time to resist. We're the voice of a nation, can't let them persist. They want us obedient, trapped in their games, but we'll rise from the ashes, ignite the flames. They build up the walls, keep us low on hope, feeding us the fear, but we ain't here to mope. Manipulated minds with their fear porn streams, just puppets on strings, can't fulfill our dreams. They want us sick, dependent, needing their fix, but we hold the power, we can break these bricks. Listen close now, hear the call of the brave. It's time to awaken, it's time to be saved. Don't consume that now, break the chains, let's take a bow. Break free from the fear, it's time to resist. We're the voice of a nation, can't let them persist. They want us obedient, trapped in their games, but we rise from the ashes, ignite the flames. We're tired of the lies, the stories they sell. We're reaching for truth, can't you hear the bell? With love as our armor, we'll fight, we'll stand tall. A revolution's rising, hear the siren call. No more conforming, we'll break from the mold. Our hearts beat as one, united and bold. We'll rewrite the script, take back the night. With fierce conviction, we're ready to fight. Control what they cannot define. Our spirits are strong, we're ready to shine. So gather the voices, let them be heard. Together we'll rise, we'll disrupt their world. Break free from the fear, it's time to resist. We're the voice of a nation, can't let them persist. They want us obedient, trapped in their games, but we rise from the ashes, ignite the flames. Yeah, this is our time, Australia, let it be known. We're taking it back, we won't be overthrown. With our hearts and our minds, our spirits in sync, we're breaking free now, watch how we think.